Remember back on July 2nd, when Sean Diddy Combs was over the moon after a federal jury found him not guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking? I would have been over the moon too. I mean, being convicted only on those prostitution charges, that was considered a big win, given that the other charges could have jailed him for life. But that was July. And October is upon us in like less than an hour and a half. And October is a very different month, and I'm guessing a very different vibe. Because just a few hours ago, a federal judge decided that Diddy will not be getting a do-over on those prostitution charges, and he will not be able to have them tossed out either. The charges are technically called transportation for the purposes of prostitution, AKA the Mann Act. And this Friday, Diddy's going to find out how much time he has to serve for being convicted of those charges. He could get a little and he could get a lot. His lawyers are pushing for nothing more than the 14 months, right? Which is almost like time served, because I think he's been in jail a little over 12 months. But the feds are saying, are you kidding me? Are you effing kidding me? They're asking for more than 11 years. And they cite, quote, decades of unchecked violence and, quote, psychological, emotional, and physical damage that Combs has inflicted. Both sides have put forth letters from people in Diddy's past who either want him to serve some hard time or want him freed. But only one of those people was Diddy's girlfriend for more than a decade. And it was her lawsuit that opened the floodgates of the charges and all the allegations. And who was seen on hotel surveillance video being smashed to shit by an out-of-control superstar. That would be Sean Combs in that chalk drawing there. Cassie Ventura was the star prosecution witness at Sean Combs' trial and wrote this to the judge, and I quote, "For 4 days in May, while 9 months pregnant with my son, I testified in front of a packed courtroom about the most traumatic and horrifying chapter in my life. I testified that from the age of 19, Sean Combs used violence, threats, substances, and control over my career to trap me in over a decade of abuse. He groomed me into performing repeated sex acts with hired male sex workers during multi-day freak-offs, which occurred nearly weekly. I was forced into lingerie and heels and told exactly how to look and plied with drugs and alcohol so he could control me like a puppet. These events were degrading and disgusting, leaving me with infections, illnesses, and days of physical and emotional exhaustion before he demanded it all over again. Sex acts became my full-time job, used as the only way to stay in his graces, his good graces." Cassie Ventura says that she has spent the past 7 years rebuilding her life, engaging in, quote, dozens of types of therapy, but still says she has, quote, nightmares and flashbacks on a regular basis. She says that she moved her entire family out of New York for fear that Sean Combs may have some retribution in mind. She told the judge that she hopes he pays for what he did, whether the jury believed her or not. And here's where she writes that. She says, "It was only after actual video footage corroborated the exact words in my civil complaint that he issued an insincere apology on the internet. Thanks to the footage and my testimony, this is also something he will forever be associated with. For over a decade, Sean Combs made me feel powerless and unimportant, but my experience was real, horrific, and deserves to be considered. While the jury did not seem to understand or believe that I engaged in freak-offs because of the force and coercion the defendant used against me, I know that is the truth, and his sentence should reflect the reality of the evidence and my lived experience as a victim." We've reached out to Sean Combs and his team for comment, but we have not heard back. Again, the sentencing is on Friday, and oh yeah, we're going to be watching it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.